Hello, everyone. So, this is about the planets. So, I am starting the planets from first from Rahu. I picked up Rahu because a lot of people were interested in that. There have been a lot of questions that have been asked, and whenever I put what you call whichever videos I've got this Rahu's capabilities or information about Rahu, and those got lots of interest, and a lot of people are asking, queries were coming from them. Okay, so that gave me a clue that people are more inclined towards knowing what Ragu is. Probably because the awareness and the kind of vast characteristics that Ragu presents. So I thought, based on that, I thought I'll start with Ragu. So when you talk about Ragu, Ragu, what happens is it's a scary picture. Okay, why we have the scary picture is because it is you see a snake there. It is represented by a cobra. Okay, king cobra, black cobra kind of a snake, and it is very large in in the way it is projected. And generally it is seen. No, we all know that this eclipse comes because of Rahu and Ketu. So it has got the capability to cover up the sun itself, okay, or the moon itself, which happens to be our what you call the very basic characteristics of any chart. So sun is your soul and moon is your mind. Okay, so in that case, what happens is that's important, and these people are this Rahu and Ketu are capable of going and eclipsing them. Okay, that's interesting. And when you talk about from the astrology perspective, there are a lot of values given to that. One value that tells you your desire. Okay, it tells you the way you have to go, the way you have to go. You are born because of your past, which happens to be Ketu. Where the 180 degrees is that place where Rahu stays from Ketu, and it tells you where is that you are going to head, or what is your interest and where you are going to head. So in between, what happens is because of they don't own any houses, so it gives us a lot of other confusion of which house should we see. So what we take is we generally take the house that Rahu is in, and we consider that house belongs to Rahu, and Rahu actually manifests things from that house, and it multiplies the characteristics of that house, okay, and the planet that are along with it. That's how it is seen. So it is more like a 1000-watt amplifier. So it will just give something small, 1000 times it will amplify. That's how it will do. And it does not have there is no physical thing about it. So it is also called shadow planet. When you talk about, we have this English terminology called as satellites, stars, sun, and planet. But when you come to Jyotisha, we don't say that. We give them the name called Graha status to everything. Whether it is Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, everything is Graha to us. So how does it actually differ? Okay, so it differs because the meaning of Graha is to Grahan. So like you have taken some values. Okay, when you are studying in Hindi, teachers will say, "Aapne grahan kar liya kya?" Means have you grasped the knowledge that I have given? So probably you say yes. Okay, so that is what grahan. So it holds certain values. Okay, sun holds certain characteristics values. Rahu holds certain characteristics values. Ketu holds it. So and like Mandi will have that kind of a value. So every planet will have that kind of a value, and it's called Graha in Sanskrit and most of the Indian languages. So which means you hold certain value in that. Okay, so that is what Graha means. Okay, so now when we talk about not that we didn't have knowledge, okay, we had better knowledge than these English words. Okay, the old literature, when you read about it, very clear knowledge is about there, very specific knowledges are there. So, and this was. So keeping that apart, now coming to Grahas and why Rāhu has been given this name, we understood that, and then let's proceed further and see who actually Rahu was. Okay, Rahu happens to be a demon with the name Swarnabhanu. Okay, with the name Swarnabhanu. So he is the one who first finds out, and he has got the knowledge among the Asuras and Devas and gods and saying that if you churn the cosmic ocean, you will get things. And one of them is Amrit, which will probably will you don't never have to die once you take that. You become immortal forever. So this idea was given by Swarnabhanu, and all these people joined together. Okay, the Devas, because everybody wants to live long. Okay, so they joined together. And what happened was when they joined together, they decided who will take the head side, who will take the tail side, all this fighting. And always the Devas were always, they were taking all the good side. Like instead of Vasuki was the snake that was used to churn as a rope to churn the mountain or the ocean. So then what happened? Deva said, no, we won't be in the near the face, because Vasuki is a snake and it can split poison. So we will go to the tail side. And Rakshasas no, they didn't have that idea, and they said, okay, we'll go. And they went there. Okay, they are knave actually. Asuras are knave, and the gods are a bit smart. Okay. Smart, or you say selfish also in many ways. Okay, that. So that's how the churning starts. Okay, churning starts, and we know halal is the one poison that comes out and it's consumed by. Okay, that's a different story. I'm not getting into that. Okay, and when poison also comes, Shiva also takes it. That is a different poison. Halal is different. Okay, the halala is different, and the poison that comes up to which Shiva takes is different. Okay, there are two different. Let's discuss that in a different. So when this then from this only Mahalakshmi comes. Okay, your Kalpariksha comes in, your Kamadhenu comes in. All this thing comes from this churning of this ocean. Among them is what after at this fag end is what you get the Amrit. That is what comes out. And this Amrit is in demand because there is a limited source and everybody wants to have it. And as usual, the Asuras were not given the fair portion of it. Devas wanted to have it all, which is not fair, but that is what they wanted to have. And what they did was they made everybody stand, and Vishnu in Mohini's format, in a female's format, and Asuras, they are like knave people, they said. They saw the girl and she said, sit down, so the Papa sat down, because they are knave characters. And this gods, everybody, they all went into one side and they sat there. And Mohini went and started distributing this Amrit to all the gods. And this Swarna Bhanu sitting there in the Ashura side noticed that this is not right, let me go into other side and sit there. So he changed himself as he was and went and sat there. Unfortunately for him, or what happened was, the sun and moon were sitting next to him. So when the Amrit was being given, sun and moon noticed that he is not Deva. They understood that. And when Mohini came and was serving it, he actually served something into his mouth. And by the time it went into the body, they said, no, he is Asura, he is not a Deva. So immediately Vishnu sent his Sri Chakra and cut off with that person's head, Swarnabhanu's head. And that created, the head went alone and the tail went alone. Instead of killing, they became alive because Amrit has already gone there. And now there was a problem. He was angry with the sun and moon. Okay, so that's how the enmity starts. And they are not happy with this two. Rahu and Ketu are not happy with it, and a lot of debate happens. Then out of frustration and after talking and all these things, they give the status of Graha to Rahu and Ketu. That's how this Rahu and Ketu is formed. And they get the status of Grahas. So once they get the credit of the grahas, and they were given, since he's angry with these two people, who the sun and moon, they said once in a while you can go and have them. That's what it is, and that's where you have this lunar eclipse and solar eclipse comes in. So you see them, consuming both the things together. All right, full thing they can consume. And that's how this eclipse came, and that's how the story goes. And it's nice to remember this story as it is, and you have to see from the perspective of that. So when you see, when I said they were cheated, now you see that they were naive people. Okay, they are like, they don't have anything bad in them as it, but they don't think too much, and they can, if somebody provokes them, they can go and destroy them, just like wild animals. That's how it is. You treat them like that. Okay, so once you appreciate them, then we have to go and see how Rahu. Now they are separated, right? The snake head is separated, and once it is separated, and the snake head is there, but there is no body. So that means whatever it eats, it cannot be digested. Okay, so, and stomach will never get filled up. So the desire to eat is always there. So what it'll do is it'll keep on consuming, because it's hungry, right? There's no stomach there, so it's hungry. So it keeps on going and eating. That's how the mega desire comes in, mega eating habits comes in, and all the things you see, anything that you see, you try to consume, but goes waste because you cannot digest that. Ketu, on the other hand, will store it, keep it. That's it. Okay, that is why is a like storage house. So Ketu is given that Jnana Karagan, right? Rahu is not given that. Ketu is given Jnana Karagan. That is right. He gains the knowledge and keeps it. And tremendous amount of knowledge. And that is why Ganpati, Chandragupta are given the resemblance to them, to Rahu, Ketu. Because the history is stored in with Chandragupta. And he is not the Chandragupta, sorry. Yeah, he is Chandragupta only, sorry. He keeps record of all our Chitragupta. Chitragupta keeps all the records of our what all we did good and bad. So he keeps it. So he is referred to as Ketu. Knowledge wise, it is also referred to Ganpati, because we know he keeps everything. He remembers, the elephant god remembers everything that we have. So that's similar like elephant. Even after 100 years, it will remember the smallest cent. So something like that is what Ketu. So let's keep Setu apart. Let's come to Rahu. So now we know that Rahu has got a head and got a mouth to eat, but no body to digest it and to use that knowledge that it has got. And when you put it from the perspective from the earth, it is seeing the universe. Rahu is seeing the universe. Ketu is seeing towards the sun. That's the area of focus. So between the earth and sun is what Ketu's focus is. And Rahu's focus is outward. So outward, when you say outward, so that means the whole space is available for Rahu. So without a body, and it can consume anything that is available there. Okay, so when it consumes anything that is available there, that means the appetite is so high, so and it can do a lot of things, because space is where the unknown things are there. Okay, space is where the unknown things are there, and this is exactly the reason why we are scared about Rahu. Because with the moment you are moved from a comfort zone into an unknown zone, there is a lot of disturbance. You resist it. Okay, and the more you resist it, the more problems it will create. Okay, this is what Rahu's character is. So it will pushing you to the forward. Say from the birth perspective, that is your goal, that is your desire, that is where you want to go. From the this thing what you call, but when you want to change it, you are not willing to change. Your mind does not want to go with it. You want to be in the comfort zone. Okay, so when your mind is forced to do that, the challenge comes, fear comes in. And this fear is what is manifested with Rahu and Moon. Okay, so if you can understand that, and then you can start working towards with the Rahu, I think most of you should be able to work it out. I am telling you this out of my own experience because I am actually running through Rahu Dasa. And I too had the same kind of resistance. And I found out a lot of people whose chart I was reading also, like they are also having resistance towards change, which was the major problem to most of. Even to me, though astrology was a matter of interest from 1986, I never openly came up with astrology. Okay, that was the resistance because I thought that though I know also, it is like pseudoscience. But when I see things happening and when I see the prediction coming through, the pseudoscience thing goes off, and that is where Rahu is pushing us. Okay, so that is what I understood, and I have seen the similar kind of things in many of the charts. And when I ask, and they say this is the resistance. Okay, so this is how it is. So Rahu, and based on this is what my analogy is, that Rahu shows you the future, but you resist it. So what you have to do is you have to learn that, and you have to open up your heart. And once you start opening up your heart and you start working towards it, what will happen is you will start seeing the results of what has been going on. Some people really accept it at an early time and they see the fruits. And those people are like Elon Musk, our Modi, or our what you call our more world's Ambanis. Okay, so things like that. Many people you can see where the Rahu is good. No, it's in the 12th house, 6th house, 3rd house. They do very well. Okay, because they have realized how to use the Rahu. Okay, so in my case also, until I didn't come out from the background of other knowledge, I pushed this thing for until such time I was not able to do it. Today I am speaking on the internet, right? So even that is capability of the Rahu. So, okay, stopping at that, let's go ahead and see how Rahu goes up. Okay, at one and every time. So let's see. So Rahu in Sanskrit, when you write, you say Rahu. Okay, so that is how it is. So it is part of the Navagrahas that we have. So you know the Navagrahas comes into the Grahas comes into the picture. Okay, so when Grahas are there, that is where the next thing goes on. So nature of Rahu, when I say it is a point in the sky that we have calculated, that is imaginatively it has been positioned. Okay, this is intersection between the moon's orbit, okay, and the earth orbits around the sun. Moon is rotating around the sun, okay, and around the earth. Earth is rotating the sun. Okay, so wherever this points conjunct, okay, that intersection point is what Rahu and Ketu takes care. So Rahu, north lunar node is Rahu is what it. When Ketu comes in, it is south. Okay. So shadow planet, I know I already explained why it is called shadow planet. So, but it influences lot of things because it is showing your desire, what is your future. Okay. So from the Rahu was given the status of Graha, and it has got a very strong influence in astrology. Okay, so if you start working on astrology, you can see a lot of things manifesting from it. So, and it's called, it also, Ragu's influence, okay, is very high during Ragu kāla. In every day you have that period. Ragu kāla is basically when something does not work and you want to do something, you can actually go pray and you can start some work and you can find suspicious. What you call, you can find it working for you. It is considered inauspicious because it's an outlaw. Okay, so it does not fit into the community. So when there are things that does not work within the community, then you don't have a choice. So you have to go to this Rahu column and start working and get the benefit of it. Okay, so you have to use smart. So not only gods has to be smart. Gods were smart to go catch the tail of the Vasuki and drink all the Amrit for themselves. There are a lot of things that they did. So you also have to be smart. If you believe God, you also have to be smart and a bit cunning. Okay. So the Rahu and Ketu takes approximately 18 years. Okay, 18 years to go around, and that's how you have these 18 years of Dasa Bhaktis. In the 18 years you have. So Rahu Ketu are 180 degrees, always at 180 degrees, and they are always retrograde, moving in retrograde. Okay, and that's the reason if you say my presentation also, it is right to left. I've aligned it, try to align it to right to left. Okay, the headings all. And the corresponding orbit, okay, that is the precessional orbit, moon ascending and descending node, and that to that is what it is matching. Okay. So whenever there is a conjunction, synodial means conjunction, a conjunction. So you find the 18 years and 18 hours. Okay, it helps you to predict the eclipses, both the solar and the lunar eclipse. This is how we predict. So Rahu, as I said in Puranic stories, I have already said. So during the churning is what this thing came up, and Swarnabhanu was exposed by sun and moon, and Mohini cut the head of Swarnabhanu, which became Rahu and Ketu. So in summary, it has got super duper influence on us. Okay, so let's see how it goes on house by house. Okay, so the first house, when you talk about, okay, so it has got a lot of effects on the first house. So now you have to keep up two, three things. One, you have to keep up in mind that it is seeing the space outside from the earth to the universe, and it does not have a body. It has got a face, so it can consume anything that it gets. And the future is there, the unknown area. So these are the few things that you have to remember. Okay. So first house. So now you put the one that I said and say it has got a lot of desire. Okay, first house desire. If everything is about him, everything about money. Okay, anything you talk, it will be connected to money. So he thinks everything can be corrected or fit with money. That's how this Rahu in first house will think. And that thing that nature we have to control. That's it. That is what is the negative part. So when you have too much of desire, you can have the desire because that's part of it. But don't cross too much. Okay, so be within a bit of your own limits. Okay, so then it will give you that instead of becoming negative, it will become positive for you. Okay, that is the action that you have to say. So you see, if you're too eager to become rich, for example, and you take example of Ambani, all the super rich people in the world, top 10 or top 10 people, and you try to follow it, and your chart is not allowing you to make that money, then what you do, you'll go into illegal mode, and then you land into trouble. Okay, so that is what we want to avoid. Okay, first house will give you the desire, but the other part also should help you to make that money. If it does not help you, don't just go into illegal way. Okay, so what these people will do will go start selling drugs, all those things, trafficking women, to pursue their dreams. They don't care about anything. They just want money for the pursuing that. Okay, ultimately they suffer. So this is where the difference comes in the first house. They're always thinking about themselves. Okay, about their how they look, and always there are it is all big. So if somebody says, I want 50 lakhs, these people's number will be 50 crores. So if somebody says, I want to buy a house for about 2 bedroom, and this will say, no, I'll go and buy a 6 bedroom house. So this is how they go into expansionally, and they get into trouble of taking more loans, and because their ideas are big. But we also have to see whether the other planets support us. So they don't support, so we have to adjust that and go with their desire so that you don't suffer a lot. Okay, so that is how first house will do. Okay, so that is one. And first house also will create that illusion, lot of illusion about yourself, so which you need to understand. When it comes to second house, it will bring in a lot of finance. This thing suddenly it can bring you huge amounts, especially from foreign lands, and they will end up having a lot of luxuries. That is what they want in their house. Okay, the house and the comforts they will have. So they have second house is education, right? So a lot of well-educated and privileged people, they'll be connected to them. That is how this positive effect of Rahu will come. The downside, it is you will start spending unwantedly, and you start talking bad language, and some criminal tendency might come in. Okay, so these are certain things for earning that money you might bring in. So you'll have to keep that thing, because you'll start speaking lies. Second house, no, you start speaking lies. These people will go and scold their own mother tongue, okay, which is not at all needed. So they'll go and talk. They will feel, they'll say, no, this is not good. I will talk some other language. This the nonsense all they will do. Okay, so this is all something that is not at all needed. So these people have to reduce that particular part of it. Okay, second house, and they'll think about big family. Okay, they want a big family. They want to have a large family. Everything is large in second house. Education is large. You talk about money, they want to earn big money in short period, and that too, everything they want shortcuts. That is Rahu, because he will try to work the smart way. Okay, so everything is shortcut, and that will land him into trouble. When it comes to the third house is your effect in a next generation. Third house, if Rahu is sitting, the next generation will become a problem, because there is too much of heat will be generated, and a lot of knowledge will be there. And third house, there will be a lot of very active. Okay, the other word will be agile, very agile. And so the way they are in the city, they will make wherever they are, that place they will make it much better. If he happens to be in a city and he is in charge in politics, so he will make the city better. Third house is also public, right? So they will do all those things in them, and they will do very good in business, earn well. Okay, but at the same time, when you talk, they might have got some evil thoughts, because they want to grow faster. Okay, the moment they think of big and they want to grow faster, evil thoughts will come, shortcuts, evil ways to doing it. They will try to live in secret to get things done. They will get into accidents, financial losses, marital problems. All these things will start coming up the moment they start working. Marital problems, kids will become a problem, because third house is where you have to have the initiation. Only when then the kid will come. It does not come in the fifth house directly. It starts from the third. So there it will create problem. Okay, so third house is like that. So you have to be very careful with your brothers and sisters, because you have a tendency to overtake them. Okay, and which will spoil your relationship with them. So you have to take that precautions, Rahu. So okay, third house is like that. So you have to have good and bad. So the moment you go towards the negative one, put a control on that, come back to the good positive one. Then it itself will support you a lot. Okay. And when it comes to the fourth house, it is your mother, land, properties, estates, and other cars. Okay, you name it. Okay, all these things will come from the fourth house. So these are all, you might have a lot of. You might end up buying lands. You might end up buying factories. You might end up buying jewelries and all those things in huge quantities. You might do. But always remember, there is a limit to which you can, by naturally you can do that. And when you try to go beyond it, when you try to go and say, my brother has got 2 lands, and your thought will be, I want 10 lands. So where is 2 lands, where is this into 8? Okay, it is gone up. So you end up going for loans. Okay, family, that will create family. So if the brother is having something else, no, then that land property will create, you start having disputes on that. And fourth is also, you can even house, right? House is there. So what do you do? You might even try to live a unconventional life arrangement. Okay, so these people are known to give their houses to prostitutes. That's a kind of character. So do you want to do that or not? This person's capability. They will give it to them. So things like that, all immortal activities, where those places, all they can give. They can even go and give it to they will say, no, they will say, I want the shop to be given to one wine seller. Okay, so that's how it is. Like, because I make more money there, so I will give it to them. Okay, things like that. That's how they'll keep it dirty, but they'll try to sell it to them. Okay, so that's where the money comes. So fourth house will do that kind of. They'll get it is they might get into evil people's contact, and they might give the house to them. Okay, so the Rahu, when in the 4th house, you have to be especially careful. Okay, and When it comes to fifth house, this is where you have the children's problem. Third house is where you initiate. Fifth house is your children, and that will have problems. And when that has got problems, then your entire life is troubled. Okay, because children's that is what we are. We have to bring up the next generation. That is where problems will come. And fifth house also happens to be very passionate about things. Passion comes from fifth house. Okay, so about literature, entertainment, politics, all this, celebrity culture, all this thing comes from the fifth house. So because it is creative house, so from that is what people try to bring out all those character, and especially if all the son's character will be seen in this fifth house. So they want to bring up that what you call king style living, no? That's the kind of, and they will be doing big trades. Okay, in trades all they will do, in marketing all they will get a lot of money they will put in, and they will get into limits. As they cross their limit, it becomes a negative thing, and he will get into trouble with that. Okay, and they will also see, when there one more interesting thing about the fifth house is when Rahu is in, they will try to go and get adopted kids. Okay, why he is outlaw, right? Rahu is outlaw. So what he will do is outlaw. Who goes to the orphanage, who don't know their mother and father, most of them. Okay, so those kind of kids they will go and adopt, because that's the attitude. He is outcast, right? So he will go and pick it up and then bring it, and he will proudly display that also. That's how it is. So if you want to reduce the fifth house marriage problem, kids problem, generally what we suggest is get remarried with the same female. Otherwise, it will split. Okay, ancestral property will get into trouble. Your grandfather will be of trouble. All these things it can create. So you have to be a bit cautious about the fifth house. The Purva Punyam area, right? So that gets spoiled. If it gets spoiled means Rahu sitting there, you have to be 10 times more careful to take care of that. Until unless some guru or somebody is looking at that house, you're done. You're okay. But if nobody is looking and he is alone, that's it. You had to be extremely careful with that particular placement. Okay. And if you notice is all these things, you only will do the mistake, you only will suffer. Okay, how it is designed is, it will give you the option to do the mistake, you will do the mistake and you will suffer. That's all. So you better be aware of it and control your mistakes. Okay. When it comes to the sixth, people say it is very good in sixth house. And the managerial capabilities excel. They really excel in that. And they give them a job, they will do one of the best things they do. Okay. And it is like you ask them to build one tower, they will build it at the best price, and one of the best things they will do that nobody would have done. Something new they will do. That's how it is. I have seen one person who has built up one data center, and he built it with all the latest greatest thing in the things nobody even thought of. Okay, he was Rahu in sixth house, so he did that. Okay, so like that they will do. They got the latest machinery at a very good price, because the other company wanted it to be as a showcase model, and so they gave it a very good price. So he got the best of it as in his data center. So that's how crazy they can be in doing it in the sixth house if Rahu is there. And they are very generous. They will be very helpful if it is there. And if somebody is facing tough time, they will be the first person to come and support them. Okay. So, but the same problem is like when they have desires, which when they are not able to fulfill, so illusion may rise, and they might go into unethical behaviors, and that will create desperation. So we have to take care of that. Okay, sixth house is good. Okay, and diseases, when you have, you can fight it back. You will get the best doctors possible in that. You will make a good doctor if you are in sixth house. Or the latest greatest medical fields you can get into. You can get Rahu there. You might open up a very good orphanage. Okay, you might do all sixth house related things. All you can do. Okay, at the same time, you can also get into trouble. Okay, you can get into police. You can get sixth house. All those things, the legalities and all those things. Again, when you look back, it would be mostly because of your greed. Okay, because of your greed, which the chart was not supporting, and you went ahead and you got into the trouble. I have seen one chart where Rahu is in the first house. The greed is so much. Okay, it's good. Actually, Rahu is in the first house and Saturn is in the seventh house. That is from Aries. If you look at it, is exalted. But what this person did was, because of the greediness that he has got, he ended up killing two people, the other business people who were doing that, and he landed up into deep trouble. Okay, he's jailed and all those things. So it can happen. Okay, so you get into the sixth house problem. So Rahu can do all these things. So you have to control your. You should know the limits. You know it's crossing. It means you be within that, so that you don't get into all this kind of criminal activities and other things. When it comes to seventh house, you have lots of friends will there, especially partner commitment ship will be there. So your desire will be to succeed in that to a very great level. In seventh house, no, you want to do it. But excess of materialism, expecting them to pay you, pulling money from them, from friends, from all those places. So this will create an imbalance. Okay, so Rahu will create an imbalance. When Rahu creates this kind of an imbalance, so this will, it's not good for you, seventh house. So seventh house wife might be another religion. Okay, he's outcast, right? So he will go bring a girl from some other caste. And his friends might be of other religion. If he is a Muslim, he will find Hindu as a friend or Christian as a friend. If he is a Hindu, he will find Muslim or a Christian as a friend. You might end up into another religion of a vice spouse, and they live happily. That's not the question. But there is something called as a greed factor, desire factor, which will drive them, and that they have to look at it and say when the limit is crossing, you have to put a stop to it. Okay, so this is what it is. So the moment you cross the limit, it is. So Raga is like a testing thing. It's like a balance. So if you don't balance it properly, if your desire is so high, automatically all the negative things will pull you down. So if you have to balance the desire so the negative does not disturb you too much. At every house, this is what is seventh house. This problem it will give. When it comes to the eighth house, okay, so your ancestral properties you might get lotteries you can win. You might get into occult sciences. Spiritually, you will get awakening. All these things can happen if you see Rahu in the eighth one. Okay, and eighth house also is known for secrecy. Okay, secrecy, hidden desires. Okay, like they want to go and sleep with some other guy's wife. These are all be hidden desires which will not be shown outside. Okay, and they might get into some vernal diseases also. Okay, and when it comes to resource sharing, they might not be so open with that. So they might want everything for themselves, and they might have psychic capabilities. Okay, so they might get dreams, wild dreams. They might get this evil dreams and feeling that somebody is following. All those things are possible when it is there in the eighth house, because eighth house is Mars there. So Martian effect will affect this thing, and Martian is killing, right? Killing and all those things. It's a gory scene when Mars starts working. See, though we like military, police all, so at the back end when you really go and see what the military people do is, their job is to kill people. Okay, so when they kill, you know how it looks like. Police is like they go back behind criminals and they hit them. They also kill people, they also hit them. So it's a very ugly way of looking at the Marses, and when Rahu goes it makes it double the sides. Okay, so eighth house, you have to be a bit cautious. So you better go into the spiritual world instead of going into the materialistic effect. The moment you move into and the balance get lost, you are lost. Okay, Rahu is like that. So everywhere that is balance is where you have to keep on viewing it. Okay, the eighth house effect will be there. So you might get a big chunk of property from your grandfather. Okay, because that eighth house indicates that you can be very good in research. So you might find new drugs Okay, you can find new products. Research oriented people can survive. They do well when 8th house, because 8th house hidden, right? Research is about to finding out the hidden things. So they will be very good police detectives. Okay, so these people who can find out things for you, spies. These are all, they are good. They will go and find out all the details. So research is very good for these people. So if they're there, they should go into research, and even into astrological research, even into any medical research, astronomy research. So when they get into research, they will do really well, because they will find out something new that others could not have seen, because Rahu sitting there will give them capability. Okay, the 9th house, when you talk about, it is your father. So it puts a stop into your father's life. It becomes difficult for the father. Okay, you create a lot of problems for that. And spiritual growth comes in, because 9th house is that. The spiritual growth comes in. So you also travels. 9th house is also long distance travel. So a lot of travels, and maybe philosophical pursuit, you might get into that. So this is all very positively seen, but it creates a problem for the fathers generally. 9th house, right? In there. And since it is, if you look at it, there will be a lot of knowledge there. 9th house is full of knowledge. Ragu will try to expand that. And if you say something like, no, 9th house says religiously, if they say, so they will find out a new way, a new method, saying that, no, this is what this religion says, and they will staunchly follow that, and that will create problems. So don't try to get into that. When the Rahu is in the 9th mode, you don't get into too religious. Okay, keep your limits. It's like, I have seen some places where they break coconuts on people's head, and people believe that. Okay, and there are cases where I think they reported skull cracking all. So these are all the negative ways of doing it. So they just make that so dramatically big. That is Ragu's job, right? And some unwanted religious rules are there, which they will magnify and follow. Okay, walking on the fire is fine. Okay, people walk it. There centuries we have been doing it in the temples and everything. And pouring petrol on that and walking is something. That is what Ragu will do. Okay, so this unconventionally do something else. So breaking who will break coconut on somebody's head? So these guys will go and break hundreds of heads on. So this kind of things all you are supposed to be avoid. I have seen one person taking bath in chili. Okay, he says it is Abhishekam and takes chili bath in the name of God. And scientifically, we have seen that it kills your nervous system, and it cannot grow for more than 2.5 years. Okay, it is actually applied for certain cases where you have continuous pain, and chili is that extract of chili is applied, so that the nerve is killed, and it takes 2.5 years for it to grow back, for the pain to come back. And again, they will apply that and they will reduce it. These are all some genetical problems they have. Now imagine somebody taking this chili as a Abhishekam on a regular basis on every year. So these are certain things that people will go under. So I would suggest not to get into such extreme things, because this is what Rahu helps. Okay, so once it goes into that place, and then it will spoil this. So 9th house Rahu is good, but don't go towards overindulgence into this religious dogma. Don't do that. Okay, so don't go extra mile for that. So desires, materialistic desires, if you can limit it, then these problems can be easily resolved. 10th house. So 10th house impacts career. So you want big career, you want big money, you want big fame. Publicly you should be recognized. Okay, ambitious achievement, a lot of social prominence. This all the positive effects that it can give. And this, what will happen is, also will create, I want this at any cost, that kind of attitude. Okay, so that will lead you to do unethical activities and manipulation to be in that post. Okay, no, whom do you want to take that example? You can take example of the Chinese president, right? Whatever it is, things are not good, but he wants to be there. So what he does, we have seen videos, right, where they remove the ministers. I don't know how many people they say they have killed it, but it gives a picture. So just to become socially be in that particular position, top of the country, so they go to that extent. So that is what we are not supposed to do. We are supposed to control, because that later point of time will definitely come behind it. Karma is not going to leave us anyway. Okay, so it can, if it can follow us from ages, every lifetime we have to spend. If you do good karma, then that gets stored and you can do that. If you have to get bad stored, and that also comes to along with it. So karma is not getting to go anywhere. It is going to come along with you. That's the reason when we do this karma, 10th house is karma, right? Karma, when you talk about, when remedies are given, okay, especially I have seen it personally, when we give remedies, what happens, it affects the individual who has given that remedy to go to this temple, do this, it will get rid of it. It hits us, okay, the person who is saying that. And we are all aware of it, okay, so it hits us. So the remedy portion of it, when you do it, because the karma has to go somewhere. It is like, every action has equal and opposite reaction. Karma cannot disappear until it is experienced by somebody. Okay, so that is how the karma funds. So this 10th house, you have to be very careful, because 10th house, whatever karma you do, 11th house, the profit will come. The results of that profit will be shown. When I'm saying profit, don't look at one angle. When I'm saying 10th house, you do because of this Rahu there, expansion, big ideas, and you start doing bad things. The fruit of it, the gain of it, will come in the 12th. So the bad thing gain will come in the 11th. Okay, so you have to be careful. So that is the reason you say do good, think good, do ethically big things. That will come as a good fruit in the 11th. So don't try to, just to be in the power, you take shortcuts, all those things. It will be nice, but the 11th house will get affected. So the results will get affected. It might not show in this lifetime, in the coming lifetime it will show. Okay. And what happens is, when it comes to the 11th house, whatever you did in the 10th is going to come here. Okay, all your karmas that you did is going to come here. Whether you did in this life or last life, it is going to come here. So in the 11th house, it will give you a lot of social connections. That's a positive effect. Friendship, if you have done the good karmas, a lot of aspirations will get fulfilled. It will bring you a lot of gains in the terms of lands, properties, financial, and a lot of communities you get involved, and you will do very well. That is the good thing about the 11th house, because 11th, if you see, is the 5th opposite. Okay, the 5th you have all this art, creativity, and that will get the benefit from the opposite house. 11th house will get. So what do you in the 11th house? So you want 11th house is also gains, right? So when you you want to. It's like that digital money, right? What do you call the Bitcoin? So people want to invest 5,000, 2,000, and they want to gain 1 crore. That's greed. Okay, that is what Rāhu will do. And only few people make the money, rest of the people lose the money in that. I don't know how many people became really poor because of investing in that digital money called Bitcoins and others. And the person who created it, he has become rich, and he has disappeared also. Many people have disappeared. So that's the kind of greed I'm saying. So you invest so much and you go so much. So that is what is the 11th house. 11th house also will, if it there, you have to be careful about your elder brother. Okay, elder brother, and you have to be careful about your laborers, and it can really it can create trouble there. Okay, in the 11th house, it can create with the laborers. They can create trouble. It also has got an effect on the water. So water also we can get it can get affected. So you have to be in the 11th house. You have to be a bit careful when it comes to financial, friendship, because your desires will be there to invest little, make more. That would be the gain. So you might have said, okay, somebody would have said, if you buy this property at 40 lakhs, this might grow to 2.5 crores, and that this might not be possible, but that the picture that they present will burn your thoughts, and you will become okay. They said, good, year, I'll invest. So you'll go and invest 40, then another 40 also to 2 houses you will buy and keep it, and it will not go. You'll fall. This is what desire, over desire will stop you. Okay. So had you gone for 20 lakhs into 40 lakhs, you would have invested 2, and probably it would have sold at 80 or 90 lakhs. So that would have been a gain. But if you are looking at 2 crores from investing 40 crores, that will be the challenge, and that is where this 11th house negative effect will come if Rahu is sitting there. So desire of too much of profits, that is 11th. Expecting too much from your elder brother. Okay, so these are our things. Okay, but whatever karma you did in 10th is what 11th. It's a complex thing, right? 10th you do karma, that comes in the 11th. But the desire is there in the 11th. That is Rahu is sitting there. Okay, so it will be always will be driving through that. Okay, the 12th house. When it comes to 12th house, it is the what do you call it? It is the last house where you lose everything. So when you lose money, okay, when you lose money, then that means it's a loss. But when you lose the money to buy a house, you see that as a good one. Similarly, when you lose everything and you go to God, that is a good thing. So you don't need materialistic. Okay, so 12th house is generally non-materialistic. You become non-materialistic. Okay, so you want to lose. You want to buy a house, 4th house, you want to 4th place, you want to buy a house, 12th you lose the money. Okay, you get a house. So materialistically you will be losing it. Okay, so you want to go become a monk, 12th house will be active. And that means that day you will not be having the money in interest. I recently heard one Jain family, the entire family went into monkhood. I believe they had a couple of crores of property, they wrote off and they went into that. That means what? In spite of having the money, they went into the monkhood, that the 12th house got activated. So 12th house can be good also, and especially if you see, I think Mukesh Ambani, you have 12th house Rahu you have got. Okay, so don't think that it is bad, 12th house. It gives you a lot of material benefit also. But other planets should help. Okay, encourages them for. You should be actually detached from the materialistic world. But the opposite seems to be true with Ambani's chart. Okay, so 12th house also indicates that you can still be rich, and still you can be detached from that money. Okay. And the spiritual way of life is what they will look at, and even all the things that happens. So at certain point of time, such people, they write off all the money and they take a very simple life because they're tired of this money life. Because we all know money does not give the ultimate happiness. The ultimate happiness comes when you are satisfied, and when you are satisfied, you don't need any one of this comfort or materialistic things in your life. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so Rahu, when you talk about, it's got so many good things also and bad things also, but it is up to us to how you took it, how you take it and go. So it can give you loneliness, spiritual confusions it can create in the 12th house. Some unresolvable karmic patterns will be there. Generally speaking, whichever house you have, Rahu you have, the best remedy is to go to some fierce goddess. Okay, like Rudran, go to Mahakali, go to Durgai, especially with 8 hands. In Tamil they say Ettukai Durgai, that means 8-hand Durgai. Like that you should go and pray. Then you get some relief from the negative effects of Rahu. Rahu's beautiful thing is he will give you the desire, he'll push you. When you cross the limit, you get into trouble. So the limit is what you have to find out, and it is individually it is different for everybody. So they have to see the limits and they have to stop. Otherwise, you end up like the other person who went ahead and killed a couple of guys just to maintain his business. He lost the business as well as his pride. Everything is lost. Some people take too much of loans and they get into. So you should know your limits. So if you are capable of buying 2 houses, buy 2 houses. Don't go and buy 6 houses. Okay. So that is the difference. We all know, heart of heart, we know what is our capabilities. I'm not saying don't go, don't do, behave, or no, don't have desire. I'm saying have desire, especially wherever Rahu is there sitting there. That desire, you have to be extremely careful. Okay, you should not cross the limit. If you cross the limit, that is where the trouble will start. Because 180-degree Ketu is sitting there, waiting for you to do that mistake. So if there is something, because he is already storehouse of all our past, which is probably a lot of bad things are there. So the moment you do something here, you will push something out. Okay, and then we'll have to experience that. So this is about Rahu. So Rahu has got both the qualities, good and bad. Some of the people do very well in Rahu Dasa. Some of the people do very bad in Rahu Dasa. It's all or karmas and other things. So how you handle Rahu in different houses and when the Dasa Bhuktis are running is it's up to you. So you need to know, you have to understand your chart properly, and then you have to take the appropriate step, okay, so that you don't suffer too much, or at least you don't carry the negative energies forward. You stop it there. So I hope I gave you almost a very clear definition of Ragu, what it is and how it affects you. And I hope you learned and you start living with Rahu. And it's a beautiful planet because it also gives you the desire, which is most important. It also gives the materialistic world, which is also important. It is what over the limit when you cross is where the problem comes. So especially when you're running through Rahu Dasa, Keda, Rahu Bhukti, you should be a bit careful about those desires. And then things should be okay. It should support you very well. See, when we see from the ALP concept, okay, when we are looking from that ALP astrology concept, Rahu wherever it's sitting, if it is sitting from there, no, so it is in the 6th, 8th, or 10 or 12th houses, it actually gives a lot of trouble. From wherever that ALP Lagna is running, from there when you see. So we have seen that happening continuously. We have seen it. So if it is in 6th, 8th, from the ALP Lagna, that is the ALP Lagna is progression of your Lagna. So if it is in 6th, if you see in 8th, if you see in 10th, or if it is there on the 12th, so then it gives you a lot of trouble. If it is not there, if it is in a good place like 2, 4, 3, no, these houses are all good. So here all you get a lot of benefits. In 11th house it is good. So when you try to use the negative house also in positive way, you get very good results from Ragu. So it's about, I started, Ragu for me gave astrology. Though I know the other portion of the technical world, and Rahu gave me this knowledge about astrology, especially into deeper knowledge, understanding about how it does. Good thing I started off with Rahu, and let's hope it's beneficial for everybody. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye. Let's see soon with the other planets. Thank you.